Hey friends, I have been going through Gypsy's emails with Ryan trying to find anything that would give clarification on that real bad email. That way we would know if he is convicted or cleared or what, in the court of public opinion of everybody who has read or looked at these emails. So far, I haven't found anything, but I did pick out a few interesting ones here that I want to go over with y'all. So here, Gypsy's writing Ryan, and she says, "You said you wasn't mad. I have stood by you, Ryan. You don't commit to making a real effort. So when you're 600 pounds, don't say I didn't do what I could for you. In your mind, it is either do a diet that you won't stick to or B word, read. It never clicks in your mind to get off the couch and have ambition to do anything but the minimum. So many options to get fit, and yet you choose not to take the opportunity. We have a gym. You went for a week and stopped going. You could hire a personal trainer, see a dietitian, get a surgical cosmetic solution, but you want to guilt trip me by saying you'll go back to the B word." Something that me and Amber from Into the Weeds have talked about is the audacity of Gypsy's constant preaching. Even though she has no life experience outside of Dee taking care of her and then prison coddling her, she really thinks that she has it in her to give everybody a blueprint to fix their life with no problem. It doesn't seem to have occurred to her that there's an underlying issue probably in Ryan that needs to be addressed before any of these simple things could help. That's just my surmising. Whether the issue is physical or psychological, Gypsy thinks that she can just lay out a simple template of things and people are just going to be fixed because, she knows everything. But yeah, I have no medical education, not much regular education to even speak of, y'all. But that's just my surmising. So everybody make their own decisions. Now, this one I found interesting. Gypsy clearly wanted her memoir to be named Memoirs of a Caged Bluebird, but they didn't go with that because it's obviously trying to rip off of Maya Angelou, I Know Where the Caged Bird Sings, if she was smart enough for that. Some people think that it was from the Hunger Games, something about a bluebird. I don't know. I'm not a Hunger Games aficionado. But in this email, Gypsy says, "I wonder why 85% is mandatory. It is said that it takes 85% to break someone's soul and then they leave having been broken and to feel disconnected and numb to what happens in their lives. Freedom only after the hope of freedom has faded is the system's way of having the last laugh." Real talk from a caged bluebird. What the hell is she talking about, y'all? We've been reading her email. She didn't do nothing in there but have boyfriends through email, masturbate, and watch reality TV all the time. She has said enough times that prison was her first freedom. She's talked way too much about what a great time she had in there to try and sell us this bullshit now. And frankly, while she's wondering why 85% of her sentence is mandatory, most of us who've never had a prison sentence are wondering why there are percentages. Why isn't a prison sentence just a prison sentence? Yes, I get overcrowding, funding, blah, blah, blah. But we're talking about a murderer here who is complaining that she has to do a whole 85% of her sentence. That's the system's way of trying to break her. Give me a fucking break. This one here is a back and forth between her and Ryan. It's pretty easy to suss out which is hers and which is Ryan's, blah, blah, blah. But the last one is the one that I find pretty interesting because, Gypsy sold a story about how she was completely innocent. And, Nick was the one who introduced her to all this BDSM stuff and toys and things like that, even though Dan testified differently. Look at this bottom email here to Ryan. "I take pride in knowing that I introduced you to new erotic experiences such as going to Love Works and trying toys and things because the truth is you have had experience with others and I'm sure everything has been done multiple times, even with the same partner. So I just like having the opportunity to be the first to open your eyes to new things." She introduced all of her partners, it seems, to role-playing and toys and BDSM. And there's nothing wrong with those things whenever they're not being done by a psychotic murderer, but Gypsy used those things to get Nick to do her crime. That's the issue there, y'all. What do y'all think? Now, this next one is just straight up emotional abuse and gaslighting. It says, "You can't get mad at me for talking crazy to you when I have been since the beginning." What the hell, y'all? Can you even believe that? Anyway, she continues on. You set the tone years ago when you didn't come back with, I don't appreciate being talked to like that. You never had any balls to keep me in check, so you don't get my respect now. It's your own fault for being like that. Wow, classic Gypsy, no responsibility, no accountability. Everything she does is everyone around her's fault. Y'all around her, take note of that. One of these days, she's going to do something horrible and it's going to be y'all's fault. Now, this email here is another big, long one where she's defending herself because Ryan's upset because she Facebook friend requested a bunch of dudes from her past, and he wasn't cool with it. And apparently he found out that she'd been looking him up, trying to chat, blah, blah, blah. So she did this big, long explanation, and then a couple of unredacted names. She was like, Robert and Levi denied my request. Oh, man. But the part I found interesting at the bottom is the next to last paragraph. Gypsy says, the sad part is this is such a trigger for me because my mother would prevent me from having communication with males for fear of a romantic connection. And now that I am in a marriage with boundaries regarding other males, it fucks with my head and I am put back in that time with her. I am trying to adapt to married life, but some of it feels like life with my mother all over again, specifically when it pertains to friendships and communications with men. Wow, y'all. Wow. I don't know how Ryan is so delulu. That is the only way he ever felt safe sleeping in the same under the same roof with her. My God, y'all. Also, this kind of takes away some of the oomph from Ryan's whole shock and awe in that whole life after lockup fight where Gypsy says, you're acting like my mother. And he was like, whoa, that's too far. But she tells him that all the time. I found 2 or 3 other emails where she tells him that she feels like he's acting like her mother. And there's, I'm going to include a clip in here from Audrey from TikTok. She found an email, which I've read before. Fancy's released it before, but it was shocking to her to read it for the first time and hear Gypsy tell Fancy that she felt like Fancy made her feel like she was under the thumb of her mother.
I seriously feel like I just found the message where Gypsy Rose admits accidentally that she had her mother offed so that she could live her life. I'm going to read it to you. Tell me if you feel like she accidentally slipped up here as well, and if you think that this was a subtle threat to the person that she was sending the message to. We're going to start right here. I understand where you are coming from. However, I honestly feel you fail to see I am a 28-year-old woman, and yes, I have a traumatic past. But you treat me like I'm 15. The same as my mother did. Do you not see I am expressing myself? I am making my own choices for my life. The decision to marry aside, I am finding myself and discovering what I want. When I was a little girl and throughout my teen years and into adulthood, my dream was to be a wife and mother. It's so simple. But for me, at the time, an impossible dream, as my mother would never allow that to happen. She flat out told me, you will never get married, you will never have kids. There are some things that you will never do. I do not take kindly to others telling me how to live my life. Jib. By not taking things kindly, do you mean having them schmurdered because they are telling you how to live your life? Anyways.
Okay, now this last one literally shocked me. It's a list of things that Gypsy sent, I believe, to Christy that she wanted her to send to Ryan, or maybe Ryan to pick up from Christy's. Anyway, let me read the list. I'm sure y'all will understand whenever I get to the shocking part. 1. Artwork. The New Orleans big painting, the Princess and the Frog picture, and my own paintings. 2. Clothes. My lingerie, all clothes that Blah had purchased for me. I believe you boxed them up, put them in Mia's room. 3. The black boots that you bought for me. Blank is going to be putting together my dress box, and when it is time, he will send it so I can wear my boots out of there. 4. All the books that y'all had kept for me, like Star Wars books, dictionaries, etc. 5. My autograph book. 6. My mother's dresses that was saved for me. What the actual fuck, y'all? I did not think that murderers were allowed to keep trophies from their victims. Did any of y'all know that murderers are allowed to keep trophies from their victims if they're their child or something? What the actual hell? That is gross. Does anyone think she puts on Dee'S dresses and walks around? Ugh. Obviously, we need our palate cleanser after that, for sure. Now, the water lily has closed up. As you saw, we've got another bud that's going to bloom soon. As soon as it opens, I will show it to y'all. I can't wait. I've got to work on the water today. Like I said the other day, we had a whole bunch of rain, so got to take some water out, add some fresh in. I think the fishies will love it. My Rose of Sharons are blooming so good after that last rain. They're all popping open beautifully. The white ones over here is really the tallest and oldest. I love it. My canna lilies haven't bloomed yet, but they're getting close. I can't wait. I just love their leaves. Their leaves are so jungly green. This little dude here was sunning in this flower pot that I got the other day from a yard sale, so I had to catch his wings a little bit. Anyway, hope y'all are having a good day, friends.